specialists, in association with Australian Football Championships, proudly present today's Sterling Cup elimination match between St Kilda and Queensland.
And it's a very big welcome from David Fordham to all our friends in Melbourne for the Sterling Cup clash between Queensland and the VFL side St Kilda. Well, the first quarter has just been concluded. Only 3 goals scored so far, 2 by St Kilda and 1 by Queensland. The score 2-3-15 to Queensland's 1-3-9, and it's been a pretty scrappy first quarter. But with the statistics, let's go to our commentary team of Ken Hose and Alex Jezelenko.
Thank you very much, David. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, taking a look at the statistics from the first quarter of this match, we see Queensland having taken 11 marks, 36 kicks, 9 handballs and 6 free kicks. For St Kilda, their marks 11, kicks 32, handballs 10 and free kicks have been 6. The score at the moment, Queensland 1-3-9, are trailing St Kilda 2-3-15. And of course, David Pye, the only goal kicker for Queensland, and for St Kilda, Tony Lockett has kicked 1 goal and Daryl Cunningham well. Well, Alex, how did you see the opening stanza?
Ken, it's been a nervous start by both sides, and I think that Queensland now will start settling down. I think the Victorian people are going to have a pleasant surprise about the standard of football here in Queensland, and I have picked Queensland to win, Ken, which might surprise a lot of people in
No
Victoria.
sentimentality.
No, although I coach St Kilda, I just think that they've got a little bit more to gain by winning this game, Queensland.
Comments there from Alex Jezelenko, now coaching Sandgate here in the Queensland Australian Football League competition. The ball in the centre of the ground now, all set and ready for the start of the second quarter. We wait the centre bounce. Saru in the ruck for St Kilda. Peter Guy for Queensland. Ball loose on the ground, comes to Morrison. Morrison drives Queensland immediately into attack. Puts the ball high. Nobody able to take advantage of it. Handball from Pye to Blair is good football. Goalward goes the ball, but minor on the scoreboard again for Queensland. Wait the kick out now. Flag has just ceased being waved, but Morwood immediately onto the ball from the kick out. Moves around well, gets his kick up toward the centre of the ground. Zane Taylor underneath the ball for Queensland. Takes a good strong mark. Zane Taylor way on to call. Oh, kick beautifully smothered right off the boot by Daryl Cunningham, moving into it well. Max Crow leading in the race to the ball, puts it back again to Cunningham. Cunningham racing straight down the ground, drops the ball to boot and immediately puts a goal on the board. His second for the day. Good football, St Kilda.
When I'm driving my turbocharged Bluebird, comfort is not something you think about. But on the road, to me, comfort is paramount. My Bluebird's got all the power and comfort I need.
Bluebird's total balance of performance and comfort works for Nissan team driver George Fury, and it'll work for you. Bluebird sedans start at only $8,705 with the government rebate and your Nissan dealers dealing. See him now.
Guy went up high. Housley on to Morrison, keeping the ball alive. Fashini, Cunningham again, who's been very, very impressive. That's Andrew Cross, who returns to Queensland today, a former Wilston Grange player in the QAFL competition here in Brisbane. 16 games so far with the Saints, driving it up towards centre half forward, and that's an excellent mark taken.
Tony Lockett.
Tony Lockett it was, the man that's in a goal-scoring position now for St Kilda at a very vital stage of the second term. 3-3-21. The quarter-time scores were 2-3-15 to 1-3-9, and St Kilda got away to a very, very handy start early in the second term. So Tony Lockett joins St Kilda from North Ballarat onto the right foot. Watch the goal umpire. It's not on target, through for the behind. So 3-4-22, the scoreline to Queensland's 1-4-10. But the St Kilda side, Alex, looks as though they've come out full of fire in the second quarter.
Yes, they've opened up much better in the second quarter. Tony Jewell must have revved them up. They've just arrived at 1:30, so I think Tony's words have been biting at them.
Up goes Max Crow, takes a great mark for St Kilda. Well, he should too. He's 6'5" with a wealth of VFL experience. Moving in now onto the right foot, driving it up towards full forward. This will test the Queensland defence, and it's equal to the task.
Terry O'Neill.
Great mark by O'Neill. So the Queensland fullback drops it onto the left foot, driving it out towards the flank. And picking up the scraps was Greg Burns. The ball's loose on the ground again. Peter Guy. O'Keefe. Nobody wants it. It's loose on the ground again. Picked up by Gary Madison, the Queensland captain. There's a face that people remember in Melbourne. That's Zane Taylor, the former Geelong player. That's Tomei. Tried to dispose of it. Queensland on the attack. Mike Gibson in towards full forward, but Mace comes back in defence to take it through. So Robert Mace, former Hawthorn player, driving it towards the centre of the ground. That's Housley. The ball evades him. He's picked it up now. Unloads it to Miller. Miller plays towards the flanks. And a beautiful mark taken that time by McGuan. So can Queensland now launch into attack? McGuan skirts around, driving it up towards full forward. But the mark's been taken again by Mace. Very stocky player, a very solid player. There's Paul Morwood, playing the ball on towards the far flank. Now drives it up towards centre wing. Over the top came the number 11, Greg Burns. Now the ball in the centre of the ground. In possession is Terry Smith. Again, Queensland's defence is tested. Magari. Greg Lane onto the boot. It looks good. Yes, it is. The fourth goal to St Kilda. 4-4-26. They lead Queensland 1-4-10. And that's a very, very bright start, Alex.
Yes, the St Kilda's opened up very brightly, and they're running much, much better than Queensland at this particular time.
Yes, they certainly appear to have settled down to the task now, and it's going to make it interesting. Queensland are going to have to come back fairly quickly in this term. We're now 5 minutes into the second term of this Sterling Cup match being played at Windsor Park, the headquarters of the main Australian Rules Football Club in Brisbane. The ball back now with Dennis Rich, the VFL umpire officiating today, ready for the centre bounce to restart proceedings. Miller in the ruck, knocks the ball to the ground. Well roved by McGuan. McGuan under plenty of pressure, gets a loose handball away over the top. Comes to Madison. Madison scoops it in nicely. He's tackled, but tackled too high. And the free kick to go to Gary Madison. Greg Burns trying to get away with it. No chance of doing so. And the game immediately held up while the ball is returned to Madison to take the free kick. The tackle far too high. Gary Madison, the captain of Queensland, playing on his home ground here today.
Can you mention that there's the home ground of Maine, of course, the side that big Mick Nolan coaches?
That's correct. There's Madison with the ball, drives it out toward the half-forward flank, but leading in the race to the ball once again, a thorn in the side of Queensland today, Greg Burns. Plenty of whistle blowing going on out there. There's got to be penalties going right, left and centre. Umpire Paul Braden has decided that there should be a 15-metre penalty. Wouldn't mind buying some real estate off him. With the ball now, Greg Burns. Runs up to the man on the mark, puts the ball on its way. It's a beautiful kick too. Over the back of the pack. Taken in defence by O'Neill. O'Neill puts it straight back from whence it came. And the mark taken by Mace, who appears to be everywhere at this moment. Mace with the ball. Again, St Kilda back into attack. Queensland defence under plenty of pressure at this stage. Ball not taken away by Sal Short. As a result, we see Tony Lockett put to the ground. Comes to O'Keefe. O'Keefe's handball to Guy is good. Guy recovers fairly quickly. He's been knocked to the deck well after the action was over. And the umpire has seen the infringement, paid the free kick up the ground, and the free kick looking as though it's going to Gary Madison of Queensland. Passed back to him by Scott McIver. On the mark, Darryl Cowie. Madison with the ball on the edge of the centre square. Puts it towards centre half forward. Don Smith underneath it. Tapped away by Blair. Blair gathers the ball in. Brought to possession. There's plenty of people on top of him. It'll have to be a ball up. And umpire Paul Braden calls it that way. Braden with the ball now. And Queensland still looking unsettled. The bounce favours Burns. Pulls it to the ground. Scrappy play again. But coming up with it beautifully, Greg Lane. Drops it to boot very quickly. O'Keefe's underneath the ball and takes a good, strong mark, standing his ground. Kevin O'Keefe. O'Keefe goes wide with the ball, looking for Gavin McGuan. McGuan with the ball, drives it long and drives it low, but drives it right into the arms of John Schultz. Ball loose on the ground again. Players packing up. Coming out with the ball is Queensland. Handball across to Morrison is good. Morrison takes a snap toward the goals, goes over the pack, brings up dust, and a boundary throw in to take place 10 metres from the Queensland goal. Well, the pace is certainly on. It's a pretty warm day here in Brisbane, although there is a little cloud cover. Here's the boundary throw in now. Ball tapped to the ground, brought out beautifully by the defence of St Kilda, relieving the pressure and putting it up onto the half-forward flank. Right up over the top, Max Crowe, taking a good mark in front of Les Miller. Crowe with the ball, calling his forwards toward him, drops the ball to boot. Malone is short, Short takes a mark, plays on, caught immediately. McIver throws himself at the bottom of the pack. And too high as a tackle, ducked his head into it, but nonetheless it's played. Across goes the handball towards number 26, Darryl Cunningham. Cunningham going for a run with the ball. The umpire's blown his whistle again. Elbow too high from Cunningham, and the resultant free kick to be paid to Queensland to go to young Scott McIver. No, not McIver, Sells Short taking the kick. Selwyn Short from the Southport club goes around the flank. Morrison using the hips manages to get his opponent out of the way, takes the mark. Handball's running off him towards Madison. He sees it, gets it across just as Madison is met by his opponent, but Madison's kick is fairly good. Was the mark paid? No, it wasn't. Towards Pye. Pye lifted bodily off the ball, take it over the boundary line and out of bounds, and another boundary throw in to take place, this time 30 metres around from the Queensland goal underneath the scoreboard. And there's the boundary throw in. Miller over the top gets a tap, puts it down to St Kilda, who get away with the ball and drive it out through the agency of Schultz. Coming through is McGarry. McGarry dispossessed of the ball. And the ball loose on the ground again as McIver gets a handball across to Taylor. Taylor puts Queensland back into attack. The pack flies high. Nobody down waiting for it, except St Kilda, that is. And out they come with the ball and drive it clear once again. St Kilda backline standing up beautifully. Ball goes into the hands of Crowe. Crowe puts the ball to the boot, trips it right into the scoring zone, and up over the back with a screamer of a mark is Jeff Saru. Saru right on the edge of the square, directly in front, right over the pack, including Peter Guy, who's 6'5", a top mark from Jeff Saru, and this is going to be a valuable goal to St Kilda. Saru lining it up, only 15 metres in front, makes no mistake, and another major on the board to St Kilda.
We've seen a whole lot of champions in Australia on Rank Arena, Australia's favourite colour TV. Seen them run, swim and bowl, seen them hit and do it all on Rank Arena, our favourite colour TV.
Now, Rank Arena proudly salute their champion partner in technology, NEC, the name that will continue to bring you the very best in colour TV.
See them try, see them fall, see it best of all on Rank Arena, our favourite colour TV.
Stop scratching. Start spraying head lice with Paralice, the odourless aerosol spray to help prevent and eliminate lice. Paralice from chemists.
And now it's 24. Miller goes up and wins it. Loses it straight away. There'll be a ball up right in the centre of the ground. Umpire Dennis Rich.
Just as a matter of interest, David, one of the people running water for the St Kilda side is Michael Roberts today.
He's out injured, of course, on the St Kilda side. There's Mace back in defence against for St Kilda. Onto the left foot, immediately finds Elphinston. He plays on down the flanks. Coming across is Andrew Cross. And putting pressure on him was Stephen Russ of the Morningside Club here in Brisbane. But play will be restarted with the boundary throw on the dressing room side of Windsor Park here at Maine. As Ken mentioned, a very warm day in Brisbane. A northeasterly breeze blowing, which is in fact favouring St Kilda in this quarter. So the free kick goes to St Kilda. It's playing on through Cunningham. Up towards full forward. Up goes Saru again and claims the mark again. Well, they've lost the advantage. Peter Guy tries to clear it away for Queensland. Picked up by Paul Morwood. He evades two defenders. And the pass goes straight in this time to Terry Smith. Well, there's an incident in back play. Tapper's afraid it could be the Brisbane Heat, Alex.
Yes, I think the sun gets to us all after a while.
So the two umpires, Paul Braden and Dennis Rich, in to try and settle it down.
Saru showing obvious disagreement with the decision to play on, and that was what it all blew up over.
It was a good decision, though, Ken. He did play on.
So St Kilda certainly lost an ideal scoring opportunity that would have been their sixth goal of the afternoon. So let's have a look at it again. Alex, here it comes up. We see Saru got good position here to take this mark. positioned perfectly. Now watch him play on.
You see right now, he tries to get around on his left foot. Just there.
Yep. So play restarted with the bounce of the ball. It's scrappy play. It's picked up this time by Tony Beckett. Zane Taylor scrapping for possession. Picked up by Morwood. Hand pass this time to Fashini. And the free kick going to St Kilda. So Silvio Fashini to take the free kick for St Kilda. Drives it right towards the centre of the ground, up towards centre half forward. Again the ball loose on the ground. Tony Lockett. Russ. That's out on the full.
That's an indication of the wind.
And a bit of pressure as well, Ken. So the resultant free kick to be taken by Silvio Fashini. Again up towards centre half forward. Terry Smith. Out on the full again. So the free kick to Queensland. Looks as though it will be taken by big Les Miller, who's been recalled to state football after an absence of a couple of seasons. He hails from the Cooperoo Club here in Brisbane. No doubt called in to replace the galloping gasometer. Mick Nolan, super mark paid by Max Crowe. Leaping up high over those Queensland players. And Max Crowe, so far 150 goals to his credit in the VFL. This time he won't be adding to that tally. But a beautiful mark again paid to Saru. So here's the replay of that coming up. Just watch the position there, super mark. Hitting right up over the top of Terry O'Neill, the Queensland fullback. So Jeff Saru tries to wobble it with the breeze, couldn't affect it, has to be content with the 1 point. That's their 5th behind of the afternoon to kick their score on to 5-5-35, and Queensland 1-4-10. Well, Ken mentioned the effect of the breeze, Alex, and that certainly was indicated right then.
Yes, that would have been blowing straight into Jeff's face. But he's going to be a big danger to Queensland in that pocket.
So what can Queensland do to reply? The guy went up high, Fashini. That looks as though it's on target. Yes, it is. Silvio Fashini scores his first of the afternoon.
This country was built on a tradition of rolling the sleeves up and getting on with the job. At Westpac, we see our job as backing that way of thinking as much as we possibly can. Backing it with money, with advice, with more branches than any other bank, and a brand new spirit of competition that will bring more and more benefits your way. At Westpac, we're rolling our sleeves up too.
We have a job to do.
Picture the wall with Polytex. Choose from 3 textures in hundreds of beautiful colours. Picture your home with Polytex.
Up goes Cowie. Ball to the ground. Madison coming out with it for Braden. Sent a free kick to go Queensland's way. To go St Kilda's way, I beg your pardon. He handball then quickly to Mace. Mace drives the ball forward, leading in the race to the ball and doing it well, Tony Lockett. Queensland certainly having some problems in their defensive zone at the moment, and they're going to have to do something about it. Rob McGarry's certainly out of touch in the defensive area, and that's unusual. Paying the price for living in Tully, I imagine, at this stage. Tony Lockett lining up the ball, 45 metres out. A near slide angle, good kick, well on the way. Touched, and a behind onto the scoreboard.
Ken, St Kilda's defence are their strength at the moment, and Queensland's forwards are just not running enough and not being creative enough.
Thanks, Alex. Alex Jezelenko there with a comment, and now the ball kicked out by Les Miller. Oh, high up over the pack. Darryl Cunningham taking a good mark. Cunningham moves around, puts the ball up high. Big pack goes up again. It's over the back of the pack. Nobody able to take advantage of it. O'Keefe, but kicked off the ground then by Silvio Fashini, and another point on the board. Fashini taking the opportunity and unable to steer it through the big ones. We've now played just on 18 minutes in this term. 20-minute quarter, of course, in the Sterling Cup, so it hasn't been a good one for Queensland. I want to get it up quickly if they're going to endeavour to score. Terry O'Neill kicking out with the ball now. O'Neill electing to come around our commentary position side of the ground. It's sneaking the ball from the back of the pack again for Sheeny, starting to come into play. Puts the ball over the top. Out with it O'Neill again. Brings the ball back. And Fashini underneath it again. The two number 6s, top mark taken over Tony Beckett. Silvio Fashini for St Kilda. Good mark that time, a one-on-one situation. Puts the ball right into the scoring zone and up over the top, Max Crowe. Well, certainly the height advantage is starting to show out, and St Kilda just a fraction taller than the Queensland side with an average height of 188.7 centimetres. Queensland 182, so that extra 6 centimetres is showing out in the marking duels. Rob McGarry on the mark for Max Crowe as he lines up for a shot at goal. It's pretty good. No, only a point. Through for one, so Queensland let off again in the dying stages of this second term. Norm Dare, the Queensland coach, sitting on the bench, looking as though he's got plenty to worry about, and he has. Waiting for the ball to come back. Well, Dare will have something to say at half-time. You can bet your boots on that. He's really going to have to get this side going. They're not playing up to what we've seen from them in the past. I'm sure the occasion is just a little big for them at this point. Ball tapped away. Comes loose onto the ground. It's a high tackle, though. Kevin O'Keefe not letting go. He's hanging on. He's a professional footballer. Dean Sharon coming out with the ball. Taking no chances in the Queensland sun. The face is covered in zinc cream. Sharon puts the ball down toward the forward line. Knocked away again. Andrew Cross coming into toward the ball, as is Kevin O'Keefe. There's the siren to signal the end of the second term, and at halfway, Queensland 1-4-10 to St Kilda 6-8-44.
Thanks, Ken, and we'll be back with more action here on the 7 Network of this Sterling Cup match in just a moment.
But no matter how far or how wide I roam, I still call Australia. I still call Australia. Still call Australia home. From national. When you want a pack that's more than a snack, which Red Rooster pack will you pick? Does our chicken and chips get you licking your lips, or do our corn cobs do the trick? Does our Hawaiian pack keep you coming on back for that tasty tropical treat? But with Red Rooster chicken, whichever pack you're picking, it's the chicken that can't be beat. Pick a pack, pick a pack, pick a pack, pick a Red Rooster chicken pack. Pick a pack.
Konnichiwa. Good day. Here in Australia, I have many new customs, like wonderful things made with cracker bread. Ordinary shape, so versatile. Cut into little piece for dip, no crumb. Oh, 3 panda gorilla. Have it plain with
tomato and cheese, tomato, cheese, ham and beetroot.
make you plenty hungry. And coarse cracker bread full of whole wheat is plenty good for you.
Cracker bread. Once you get clacking, it's hard to stop.
Monday, Krakatoa, the day that shook the world. A century ago, Krakatoa disappeared in an explosion equal to 3,000 atom bombs and heard in Australia. Nature's Recovery highlights our premiere special, Krakatoa, the day that shook the world, Monday, 7:30.
Tonight, 7:30, join Ted in Kingswood Country. And with a little help from Bruno, he's painting the lounge. At 8, Sid James and the gang carry on laughing. A holiday to remember. 2 great comedies tonight, presented by General Motors Holden.
And welcome back on the 7 Network to our live coverage, particularly to our Victorian viewers of this Sterling Cup match between Queensland and St Kilda. And what a great performance St Kilda turned in that second term, kicking 5 goals 5 to Queensland's just 1 behind. Well, it's a very important day here in Queensland for the Queensland Australian Rules Football League because, in fact, this is an historic match, the first time that they've qualified to participate in the Sterling Cup. And they did it in great fashion last year in 1983 when they won the Escort Shield, defeating Tasmania in that final match of the season. So let's recap on what Queensland has done to reach this match at Windsor Park in Maine. Let's go back in history now to 1983 and the Maroons in action.
After an unsuccessful year of representative football in 1982, the Queensland team was better prepared for success in the 1983 Escort Shield and notched a 14-point win over New South Wales in the curtain raiser to the Sydney Swans versus St Kilda match at the SCG. Queensland defeated New South Wales 20 goals, 16 behinds, 136 to 17-20, 122. On the 15th of May, Queensland met the ACT at Windsor Park, the venue for today's match, and the ACT took the field without Kevin Cowboy Neal. But fabulous Phil Carman was dominant early until Queensland's Rob McGarry blanketed him right out of the game.
High in the air went Smith, went over his head. That's Guy. Not a good handball. Again loose on the ground.
Come on, wait.
There's the shot for
kick
goal.
down the field. Not needed. Ball up, unable to take the mark. Coming in beautifully again, Beckett. He's played a top game on the wing from Queensland today. Beckett gets the handball across to Madison. Madison goes to Guy. Guy turns around, drops ball on the boot, puts it up for Woodall. He's underneath it. Ball loose on the ground. Woodall with the ball. Looks for the handball. Couldn't find anybody, so I might as well kick it myself. Madison getting the shepherd. Puts a little hand pass over the top to Smith. Smith comes back with a hand pass to Stevenson. Stevenson in a bit of trouble. Can't take the ball well. Plenty of Canberra players there to swoop on him. Oh, well tackled by Smith. Plenty of weight in that one. Dick Foss bursts through with the ball, drops it on the boot, pops it straight through, and that's a handy goal. Bartlett a little slow to play on. Saw the lead forthcoming from Housley, didn't utilise it. Woodall up over the top and seemed to be a free kick. Push in the back. Woodall, who started the quarter well, drops the ball onto the boot. There's very little movement from the goal umpire, right through.
Massive players go up. The ball's got loose on the ground. The man that tried to pick it up was Bartlett. He finally got it away to Smith. He broke clear of the pack, has the shot for goal, and that's on target. Through it goes, and that's a vital one for Queensland.
To Bartlett in the fading light. Bartlett's kick now up towards the half-forward flank position, high over the pack, the Canberra player, number 18, Tony Flaherty. Ball loose on the ground, coming down. Handball by Don Smith's good. Goes to Housley. Housley turns around, has a shot at goal. The umpire doesn't move at all.
Woodall tried to get good position to take that mark, but it's loose on the ground. ACT under pressure in defence. There's Dick Foss with the snap. I think it's on target. It's right through.
2 down and 1 to go. Queensland defeated the ACT 20-15-135 to 15-15-107. The stage was then set for the Escort Shield final to be played in Hobart on June 4. And again, the Queensland leader, former North Melbourne giant Mick Nolan, gave his all. But the pressure was really on the young Robert Dick Foss, who marked in gold in the dying minutes to give Queensland the 1983 Escort Shield.
Curly, the fullback for Tasmania. Ball kick goes to Smith. Smith takes a mark. Not a good shot from Smith. Nolan's tap was good for Queensland. Ball loose on the ground. Housley juggles the ball in. Looks for the hand pass to Woodall. Woodall turns around, snaps it through.
Shepherd coming out with it now was McGarry. McGarry puts it nicely up to Madison. Madison, they're opening up play now, the Queenslanders. They're running. And here's the chance now for them to really go forward as it's driven up a big-looking kick right up towards full forward. They go, the mark's taken.
Queensland won the Escort Shield of 1983, defeating Tasmania 13-23-101 to 12-24-96.
And so that's how the Queensland side reached today's very important match of the Sterling Cup with that win in the final of the Escort Shield against Tasmania. But so far it's been a rather disappointing performance by the Queensland side in their debut into the Sterling Cup. But the fans here at Windsor Park at Maine have certainly been entertained during the half-time break here with a model aeroplane display, and hopefully we'll get back to the action of the football very, very shortly. There's been a lot of people responsible for the way that the Queensland side has reached this situation, and none more so than the people from the VFL who are now playing an active part in Queensland's development. And we'll meet some of those people right after this commercial break.
Dandy Sound and JVC, what a combination. This JVC system features 100 watts of thunderous power, preset AM/FM tuning, Dolby B and C deck, graphic equalizer, semi-auto turntable, massive tower speakers and glass top cabinet. Fantastic value at $1,800, but at Dandy Sound you pay just $1,399, or a 10% deposit and $10.38 per week. Dandy Sound, Sydney Road, Brunswick, Ross Smith Avenue, Frankston and Lonsdale Street, Dandenong.
Hi. You know, I spend a lot of my time on the road, traveling all over the world, entertaining. And you want to know something else? I spent a heck of a lot of money on excess baggage. You see, everywhere I go, these go with me. You've got it. They're video movies. I take them everywhere. But you guys out here in Australia, man, you got it made. All you got to do is call Electronic Sales and Rentals. And if my pal Joe can't help you, then you really got problems. Now, wait a minute, Joe. For 99 cents a day, I can rent a video recorder and get 300 movie swaps?
It's that easy, Sammy.
Joe, let me get this straight. You tell me that you rent color TV from $14 a month?
That's right.
$14 a month? Man, that's less than Dean spends on scotch in an hour.
You better take my advice and listen to the man.
Electronic Sales and Rentals.
387-2222 or 222-444. Now there's an easy way to find high-quality, budget-priced vitamins. Just look for Synovus vitamins at your supermarket. Compare them with the brand you're using now. You'll find Synovus formulas are equal to or better than higher-priced vitamins. And now there's extra-strength Mega B, extra-strength Mega multivitamins, and 500 milligram sugarless vitamin C. 3 new value-for-money vitamins from Synovus, the company that cares about your family's health and your budget.
Monday night, Belinda Giblin guest stars on Cop Shop in an explosive episode dealing with politicians, corruption, and organized crime. There's also a possible police cover-up, and Giorgio's involved. Cop Shop, 8:30 Monday. He's broke, she's wealthy, and he's deadly. Together they're caught in an emerald-studded chain of danger-filled drama, high-voltage romance, revenge, greed, and international intrigue. General Motors Holden present Green Ice, the dazzling Sunday movie premiere, tonight, 8:30.
Welcome back to Windsor Park, Maine, where the Sterling Cup match is being played today between Queensland and St Kilda. Queensland football in recent years has certainly progressed rather dramatically, and a great deal of that credit must go to players who have come to Queensland from VFL ranks. There's been some outstanding ones, amongst them, of course, Mick Nolan, the galloping gasometer. I don't think anybody will ever forget some of his great performances. Last year we had Carl Dittrich up here, and Andrew Ireland came here a couple of years ago and has taken the position of State Director of Coaching. These are but a few, but almost all of the clubs now have a great involvement with former VFL players, and the standard of football has improved as a result. Let's take a look at some of those players that have moved to Queensland in recent years.
If one was to trace Queensland's path to today's history-making appearance in the Sterling Cup, you would find the obvious common denominator, the experience of former VFL players who now coach the various senior teams in the QAFL competition. The list reads like a who's who of former sporting greats from the VFL. The famous Alex Jezelenko, after a magnificent playing career with the Blues and in later years as coach of St Kilda, now has charge of the Sandgate team in the Brisbane Premiership and has contributed greatly in his short time in Queensland football. The galloping gasometer Mick Nolan guided Maine to their last premiership in 1982 and had a major hand in Queensland's fortunes last year on the way to winning the Escort Shield to qualify for today's match. Former South Melbourne, Fitzroy and St Kilda star John Blair arrived in Brisbane several years ago and saw his club Morningside to 2 losing grand final appearances in 1982 and 1983. But he saw the Panthers to great victory in the inaugural Foster's Statewide Championship here in Queensland last year.
Well, possibly, David, the chance to coach at this level was the main reason for coming up, and just the involvement of football in full-time capacity.
And what differences did you see immediately after coming from the VFL?
Well, obviously in club amenities. They're a long way short of VFL clubs, and also in crowd participation, and also in the amount of coverage that players got from the media.
John, in the 3.5 years you've been up here, what improvements do you think you've seen dramatically in the game in Queensland?
Well, the players' attitude, not just at our club but in all clubs, have improved a lot, and the attitude of the state squad's changed immensely. Guys now turn up for training all the time. They're prepared to run and work very hard at training and improve their game. So that, to me, has been the biggest change in the game since I've been here.
Well, we've seen the game now move to Sydney with the introduction of the Sydney Swans a couple of seasons ago. Would you like to see that actually happen here in Brisbane?
Well, I believe it'll be a good move for us in time, but it probably not for a few years yet. I think the Swans have got to settle into Sydney a little bit more solidly than they are, and we can continue to develop our game up here so that they've got a very strong base to come up to.
Like Blair, Nolan and the famous Jezza, the Sunshine State has also attracted other former VFL stars to coaching roles with the local senior sides. South Melbourne's Peter Morrison, Fitzroy's Norm Dare, the man in charge of the state team today, former Essendon players Barry Grinter and Pat Wellington, South and North Melbourne's John Rantel, and more recently Collingwood's Ron Wearmouth, have all moved north to put their efforts back into the game to develop the code in Queensland. But possibly the man who has made the biggest contribution is former Collingwood stalwart Andrew Ireland, who is now the Director of Junior Coaching in the state of Queensland. After sitting out the 1981 season, Ireland played a significant part in Maine's march to their premiership flag in 1982 before announcing his retirement. Well, Andrew, after years of trying with Collingwood, the first premiership came your way here in 1982 with Maine. Was that the main reason you came up here?
Oh, I don't know about that, David. I think really the position as State Director of Coaching was the thing that lured me up here, but it certainly wasn't a bad way to finish a career.
Well, you gave it away at the end of that 82 season to concentrate on your job as the Director of Coaching. Just what can you see in Queensland football the future?
Well, I really see a great future for us. I think over the last couple of years we've unearthed a number of young players, the young cockatoos from as far away as Cairns, you know, an area where the game has really prospered. They've got a very good junior set up there, and the senior football is going along great guns as well, especially since the Fosters competition has been in force.
What did you really expect when you made that initial move to Queensland? What sort of standard of football did you expect?
Well, I had been fairly lucky. My wife came from Queensland and I'd been up here on it probably 5 or 6 times before during the season, and I sort of followed the game fairly closely, so I did have some understanding about the level. I was really a little bit surprised at the standard of the junior football. It was probably a lot better organised than I thought it would have been, especially at club level. The clubs had taken quite a deal of time to make sure they set themselves up with good junior coaches.
Now, what does your work entail at the moment? It's virtually a 7-day-a-week job, isn't it?
Certainly is, and that's what the reason why I did give the game away. We've got 11 leagues out in the country areas as well as the Brisbane competition, and it really does entail a lot of work. We've been very lucky that with the support through the NFL and state government that we've been able to appoint regional directors in Cairns and in Bundaberg. But even with those two fellas helping out, it's certainly a lot of hours to put in.
Andrew, can you see the change in trends as far as local heroes are concerned, or do the kids still mainly relate to the VFL players in Melbourne?
I think, you know, it's one of the things that we've got to try and develop here in Queensland. I think with the VFL telecast through Channel 7, we continually see the Bazustos and those sort of players on the screen every Saturday, and I think it's only natural that the youngsters tend to associate and want to be the very best players, and so we find that the youngsters probably do, if you ask them what they want to do or who they wanted to be in the long run, it is those class of players rather than the Brisbane type players, and I think obviously that's what we've got to try and do, promote the Brisbane clubs and get the players wanting to be a senior Sandgate or a main player, and then the next step up is, if they're good enough, go on to the VFL.
And so that's where some of the past VFL stars have ended up and their contribution to Queensland football. We speak with another one of those in a moment, one of our co-commentators today, Alex Desalenko, probably one of the famous of them all, right after the break.
We've got it all right here in New South Wales. Everything to do and see for you and me. The whole wide world is at your doorstep. New South Wales, New South Wales. Take a good look around New South Wales. Take a good look around New South Wales.
Hello, the Furniture Warehouse and Curtains too makes you an offer you can't refuse. Furniture, bedding and curtains at warehouse prices.
And you get an amazing 12 months interest-free buying with these unmatched stocks of quality furniture for every room. And with Melbourne's finest selection of beautiful made-to-measure curtains. And now we have the largest showroom in the northern suburbs. Look at these specials. Matching lounges and dining rooms are a specialty, and a huge range at amazing prices includes these beautiful coordinates at only $799 each. And very special buying for March only, a 5-seat Lady Anne velvet lounges in a rich colour range at $1,095, saving $250. And 7-piece Regency dining settings, chairs and various decorated colours, and big oval extending table, $350 off at $1,395.
They're very special, super low warehouse prices and a whole 12 months interest-free at Furniture Warehouse and Curtains too. East Kilo and Thomastown.
Highlights.
Stage light.
Stage light.
Night light.
Night light.
Smith's lights, Tim's light, very, very nice. Flashlight.
Flashlight.
Bright light.
Bright light.
Fan light.
Fan light.
Party light.
Party light.
Smith's light, salted light, very, very nice.
Add a little lights to your days and nights.
Moonlights, harbor lights.
Smith's lights, Tim's light, very, very nice. Got a light.
Well, now let's take a look at the statistics of the game so far in this opening Sterling Cup match. In the second term, Queensland had only 6 marks, 21 kicks, 6 handballs and 4 free kicks, while St Kilda had 14 marks, showing their superiority in the air. It's only 17 kicks, 3 handballs and 7 free kicks. They are the statistics as we see them at the moment. In the middle of the ground, David Fordham.
Thank you, Ken. Alex, you're here with us. The first time I've seen you in a tie since you've been up here. Obviously enjoying Queensland weather.
Yes, it is unusual to wear a tie up here because the national dress up here is fully shorts and thongs.
That's right.
No T-shirt. But
well, let's go back. You've been here now just over 12 months. Does the standard of football surprise you? Was it better or worse than you thought it would be?
No, it surprised me, David. The individual is a very skilled performer here. The difference is the intensity of the competition. It is not so intense. The competition is more of a social atmosphere, and now you have to try to change their attitude a little bit towards winning and losing. But it is enjoyable up here, and I don't like to sort of hit them between the eyes. First of all, you have to get in with them all and change the game. But the skill levels up here are enormous, and I think that the people that they've recruited down in Victoria from Queensland, they know that they're skillful up here. It just will take them 2 or 3 years to adjust to the atmosphere of Melbourne.
One final thing, I'm going to put it on you because you now be living in Queensland. You're an ex-coach of St Kilda. Just where do the loyalties lie after 12 months, Alex?
They're with Queensland at the moment.
Can they do it this afternoon? Can they come back?
I'm a little bit disappointed with what they've done so far in the first half, but I hope that they can show the people of Victoria that they are a little bit better than what they've shown in the first half.
Well, the bounce of the ball's been underway. We better get off the ground. I think we go back now to Ken Hayes in the central commentary box. Thanks for talking to us, David.
Thank you very much, David. Well, play is underway in Queensland. 1-4-10, trails St Kilda 6-8-44 in the opening minutes of the third term in this Sterling Cup match. We see the ball back in the hands of St Kilda, and once more they put the ball well into attack. Good long penetrating kicks. Max Crowe being a dominant player, putting the ball up over the top. Gets his handball away to Terry Smith. Smith immediately puts it onto Laboot, and St Kilda in attack again. Tap through. The defensive way out taken then by Queensland through Terry O'Neill, the full back, I beg your pardon. O'Neill having his first season here in Queensland, having come from Fitzroy. As O'Neill's kick elects to go around the far side of the ground on this occasion. High pack up, waiting down beautifully. Greg Burns playing well. He's having a blinder of the game today. Oh, and up over the top. Mark has got to be paid. Yes, and it has been. Well, certainly Queensland in trouble again at the early stages of the game, as we see the ball now in the hands of Darryl Cowie. He's only 20 metres out from goal. Almost directly in front after taking a good mark in the pack, and certainly the height of the St Kilda forwards is having a telling effect on the defence of Queensland. And another major on the board to St Kilda, this time through the agency of Darryl Cowie, putting their 7th goal on the board, and a good start for St Kilda in the third term.
Well, Ken, I'm surprised because Coach Norm Dare said on Thursday night of training that they would hope not to play St Kilda in the air. That's an obvious example of the reasons why. But what can they do right now?
Well, they're going to have to tackle a little more vigorously. I think they've got to pick up their teamwork, David. They should be over their nerves by now, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble if they're not.
So umpire Paul Braden with the bounce of the ball. Up goes Saru. So too does Peter Guy. The ball loose on the ground, taken away by Greg Burns. There's Zane Taylor, 14 for Queensland. Driven up towards the edge of the square. Scott McIver takes the good mark. in defence for Queensland. Electing to play on now through Russ. He struggled to hold on to possession of the ball. That's Taylor. Now McGuan, picked up by Peter Guy, his Southport teammate. Socket off the ground that time by Andrew Cross. Driven forward by Sel Short, up towards centre half forward, but a very good mark taken in defence by Rob Elphinston. And now he will drive it right down the centre of the ground. Finds the target there in Terry Smith. St Kilda now moving towards the edge of the square. Big Max Crow goes up, beaten over the top by Terry O'Neill, the Queensland fullback. Fashini on the boil for St Kilda. Beautiful little hand pass. Will they get the bounce of the ball? Finally over the boundary line. And it was Darryl Cunningham, the man swooping on the ball for St Kilda. He's already scored 2 goals so far. Well, there's the St Kilda bench. They must be very pleased at the moment. 7-9-51 to Queensland's 1-4-10. They've scored only 1 point since the end of the first term in what has got to be a very disappointing performance for the Maroons. So once again, about 30 metres around from the point post, the boundary throw in to be affected. Up goes Miller. Picked up by Terry Smith. Cross in there, trying to battle for possession for St Kilda. And Queensland's defence totally at 6s and 7s at this early part of the third term. Once again, the boundary throw-in. Miller went up high. That was Darryl Cowie for St Kilda. Cunningham dispossessed of the ball. But the free kick, in fact, goes to St Kilda.
Wrong decision. He dropped the ball. Gave it away before he was tackled.
Well, the crowd don't like it. Here it comes up again, Ken. Let the viewers make up their own mind.
Let it go.
And the crowd on that far side certainly picked it up. Cunningham onto the left foot, up towards full forward. This will test Queensland's defence. Max Crow went high. McGuan came away with it, unloaded to the young Scott McIver, playing up towards centre wing, punched away by Saru. Not controlled that time, finally is by Cunningham. Tomei punches it on, taken by Russ in defence for Queensland. Guy couldn't hang on to it. McIver went into battle.